Today, we're cutting through the often confusing world of healthy weight loss.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
Totally. You've brought us a fantastic stack of sources, articles, some research, your notes, and our mission today is really to distill those into the clearest core principles, maybe find some surprising nuggets, and definitely bust some common myths that your materials hit on.
It really is fascinating how much noise, like misinformation, surrounds this topic. What's great about your materials, though, is how they consistently point to practical, evidence-based insights, giving you a clear roadmap.
Yeah, not fads.
Exactly, not fads, but sustainable change.
Okay, let's unpack this right away because your sources, especially that study you shared, they really hammer home one foundational truth. Healthy weight loss fundamentally boils down to a caloric deficit. For our listener, what does that bedrock principle actually, mean? Simply put, it just means consuming fewer calories than your body burns off. It's not just a theory. It's kind of the non-negotiable bedrock of fat loss. Your materials emphasize this across the board.
Right.
Every successful strategy, low-carb, plant-based, whatever, it ultimately hinges on creating this deficit. Consciously or not, it's the engine room.
Gotcha. So, okay, with that essential calorie principle in mind, your materials then really shine a light on how to do it sustainably.
Yeah.
They break it down, right? 3 pillars: diet, movement, and those lifestyle habits.
Yeah, the ones people often forget.
Exactly. Let's dive into the diet piece first. What's the core guidance there from the sources?
Well, the guidance is pretty clear. Prioritize nutrient powerhouses. So think loading up on vegetables, fruits, lean proteins like chicken or fish.
Okay.
And conversely, they really stress actively limiting those, sneaky, ultra-processed and sugary foods. They're often just calorie bombs, offering little satiety.
Leaving you hungry. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Even after eating a lot of calories. Makes perfect sense. And for movement, your notes talked about a dual approach. What's the key there with exercise?
Indeed. So cardio, things like walking, cycling, swimming, that directly burns calories, helping create the deficit. But what's really interesting here, and your analysis of metabolism studies touched on this, is the crucial role of strength training.
Ah, right.
By building muscle, you actually increase your resting metabolic rate. So your body burns more calories even when you're just, sitting around. It's a long-term investment.
Beyond food and movement, that compilation also pointed to those often underestimated lifestyle habits. What did your notes show as really vital components?
Oh, absolutely vital. Getting 7-9 hours of quality sleep per night is huge. Chronic sleep deprivation can really mess with hormones that regulate appetite.
Yeah, I've read that.
Reducing stress is another big one.
Yeah.
Stress often leads to, emotional eating for many people.
Sure does.
And finally, staying well hydrated. One of your articles detailed how even small shifts, like swapping just one sugary drink for water daily, can add up significantly over time.
Wow.
Plus, hydration can help curb those false hunger signals sometimes.
Your guide also had some really practical, actionable tips. What stood out to you as maybe an overlooked insight?
A big one is focusing on adequate protein. Your sources really underscore that protein helps you feel fuller for longer.
Okay.
And crucially, it helps preserve muscle mass as you lose weight. You want to lose fat, not the muscle, right?
Right, you need that muscle.
Exactly. And another really significant insight, those liquid calories, soda, juice, alcohol, they can add up so fast, often totally unnoticed.
Sneaky.
Very sneaky. Like one infographic showed, you could be adding hundreds of empty calories without feeling any fuller. And consistency, above all, is key. Weight loss really does take time.
Okay, here's where your sources really shine, I think. Cutting through the noise, tackling common myths, let's hit them. First, that pervasive idea. Carbs make you fat.
Ugh. Yeah, absolutely not true. Your sources are adamant. Carbs are not inherently fattening. The issue is often what kind of carbs, those highly refined ones,
Right, the white bread, the sugary stuff.
Exactly. And the total calorie load they contribute. Like one dietitian wrote in an article you had, a potato isn't the enemy, a deep-fried potato chip. That's the issue. It brings us back to calorie density, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
You could eat a huge bowl of veggies for the same calories as a tiny bag of chips.
Good point. Okay, myth 2. You have to starve yourself to lose weight.
No, absolutely not. Your body needs proper fuel to function well, especially if you're exercising. Starving yourself just slows your metabolism, leads to deficiencies, and often rebound weight gain.
Makes sense.
Yeah, your sources really emphasize the difference between restriction and just smart, nutrient-dense eating. It's about optimizing, not depriving.
All right, finally, the classic. Fat turns into muscle. So if I hit the gym, my belly fat becomes abs.
Huh. If only. That's a classic misconception. Your sources are super clear.
Yeah.
Fat and muscle are totally different tissues, different functions.
Okay.
You can't magically convert one into the other.
Huh.
What does happen with consistent exercise, though, as one fitness article explained, is you can lose fat while building muscle simultaneously.
So you change the composition.
Exactly. You improve body composition, boost metabolic health. That's what gives that toned look people want.
Yeah.
So yeah, if someone offers you a fat to muscle pill, run.
Good advice. So putting all this together, based on your compiled materials, what's a safe, sustainable rate for weight loss?
Your guide consistently suggests about 0.5 to 1 kilogram or 1 to 2 pounds per week. That's generally seen as safe and most sustainable.
Okay.
It's important to remember it really is a marathon, not a sprint. Slower, consistent progress is usually the most effective long term.
This deep dive really clarified things. Healthy weight loss isn't about quick fixes. It's about understanding these core principles your sources laid out. That caloric deficit, focusing on nutrient-dense foods, consistent movement, both cardio and strength, and those supportive habits like sleep and stress management.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, just knowing why these things matter can really transform your whole approach. It stops being a struggle, hopefully, and becomes more of an informed journey.
Right.
So for you, our listener, thinking about everything we've unpacked from your materials today, what specific aspect of balancing those calories in versus calories out feels like the most actionable starting point for your own journey? Something to think about.